Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I've installed a diesel heater and I'm going to show you how you can add Wi-Fi app control from anywhere in the world on your cell phone to any generic diesel heater. Viva brand diesel heater in my workshop. I kind of wall mounted it here. I just used some simple brackets to line up with the factory mounting points. Then I have the exhaust plumbed through the wall with the included fiberglass sleeve. Probably really isn't necessary in my case. And I'm powering it with a 15 amp 12 volt DC power supply. I know it's hard to see, but outside here I have this marine. This is a through the wall, basically double wall thimble. Even though it's metal siding, there's some insulation in the wall I kind of want to protect. So that just gives a nice finished outlet. So while installing a diesel heater itself is rather simple these days, especially with these self-contained units, control of the heater is something that was important to me, and that's kind of the topic of this video. So the unit that is included, I should say, is this controller here. It's a pretty simple one. It does have a remote, a very simple remote. That is the key. And basically you can turn it on and off and put the temperature up and down with this remote. So why is this important? Well, really, there are no Wi-Fi controls for diesel heaters. So what I like to do is, before I come out to the garage, I like to get on in the app and start warming up the garage. So I have a mini split heater over here, which I use, and it does have Wi-Fi app control. Really nice from anywhere. I can turn the heat up, and it's nice and toasty by the time I get out here. Problem is, once it gets below, 20 degrees or so, these mini splits really start to struggle to keep up. They do work, but you start using a lot more electric. They have to go through a defrost cycle every now and then where they're putting out no heat. It would be nice to have just a little bit of supplemental diesel heat on those really cold days. So I want to be able to get this started, get the garage warmed up before I get out here. So that's where we bring in this neat little device called the Broadlink Universal Remote. And I've just got it mounted on the included wall mount bracket here. And what it's going to allow us to do is connect this to Wi-Fi. There's an app, and we're going to program it to be the remote control for the heater. This isn't necessarily for this purpose. This is meant to control TVs, anything basically with a remote control. It is programmable, but it does have temperature sensors. It makes it a very kind of adaptable device. So you have to download their app. I'm going to click Add Device. And then we're going to go through some of the setup process here. Apparently needs access to location. We'll do while using the app. Alright, we're going to add a new device. Alright, so new device. This would be a Wi-Fi universal remote. So the one I have is the RM4 Pro. Okay, it says make sure the light is flashing intermittently, which it does appear to be. Click next. Alright, so it says to turn on my Wi-Fi. I'm going to jump onto the network that I want this device to use. Actually, I think it says get onto your device's Wi-Fi, which is this Broadlink Wi-Fi device here. Yep, so So we want to connect to the Wi-Fi on the device. It's going to give me a message about connecting to the network. Click yes. It says to disable cellular network. Probably just to complete the setup process here. Turn off mobile data. Okay. Now it wants for us to choose the Wi-Fi network. So it's going to search for your home Wi-Fi, pick your network. So obviously it is required that you have Wi-Fi. I do have Wi-Fi out here in the shop. Alright, so that is now on my network. It has found it. I'm going to click on it. Just wants a name for this. We'll call it Auto Shop. Next, we want to name our device. We're going to call it Diesel Heater. Now we're going to add appliances. So what do we want to call it? All right, did a little bit more digging. Turns out this device is actually 433 megahertz RF instead of infrared. Add appliance. Okay, click I. Learn the remote, RF remote. It's an auto shop. We're gonna name it Diesel Heater. So now that I know that this is RF, I guess I didn't really have to mount that right there. It could be a little bit further away, so I might move it up, kind of out of the path of the heat. That's okay. Click save. Alright. Use device now. It's okay, so all the buttons are going to be grayed out. So now is where we're going to learn the buttons. So if I want to learn the negative temperature, click that. Start learning. Learn simple RF code. Hit negative temperature. Oop, what's the frequency first? 433.92. And you can get this with a little bit of digging on the internet, I'm sure, if you have a different diesel heater. Okay, please point it at it. Tap. It received it. It does take a split second. Now we're going to tap this button to make sure it did go down. So that is a functional button now. So it learned our negative temperature. So now we do positive temperature. We'll click that one. Start learning. Same thing. 433.92. Next. Hit temperature up. Alright, let's make sure it works. And it does work. So that one's done. So I can click temperature up on my phone. See, it is raising the temperature on the heater. Okay, so now we'll learn on and off. On. Start learning. Same thing, 433.92. Next. Click the on button on the remote. Okay, it learned that. What the on button also does is flip it into out of temperature mode and into just power level mode. The last one we need to learn is off. I was waiting on this one because it's going to shut the heater down. Start learning. Same thing, 433.92. And we're going to tap the off button. Did get it. We're going to assume that worked. Okay, so now click the on button. It did turn the heater back on. Let's see what more it does. Okay. So that's really the only control we have here is temperature on and off. That's all the functions of the remote that we can learn. But as you can see now, from anywhere, we can turn this on. The key is you have to know whether it's on or off, obviously, when you flip it on, and it will do its thing. But this will definitely be good enough for me to get it going from the house. So what I did, this is like a cloud-based thing. This might have already been in there, but I took a picture of the remote, entered the frequency information, backed it up, and I just sent it to the cloud for other users to have it in there for this particular heater model. Alright, so what's really neat about this Broadlink app is it's kind of like a smart home app, so you can do routines. So, for instance, a trigger event would be at a specified time, at a certain temperature. So temperature is lower than 5 degrees Celsius for 3 hours, blah, blah, blah. So you can set up almost anything and then what you want it to do. So in this case, we want it to control a device. And in this case, it would be auto shop heater, and we want to turn it on. So you can have it set to kind of turn things on and off and actually work like a thermostat out here. In my case, I'm probably not going to do that just because I have a finite amount of diesel in here and I don't want this to run all the time. I don't want it to, you know, be able to just turn itself on when I'm not home and just have this heater running unattended. But you can do that. So if that's something you want in the process, very easy to do, as you just saw. But like I said, for my case, I'm going to just leave it with the control that I now have with the diesel heater control. Now, what's kind of nice about this, add shortcut to home screen. So we can add this to our home screen on our phone here. So now, right from the home screen of the phone, I can tap diesel heater and I'm right in the controls and I can flip it on real quick. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Again, this will work whether you have an infrared, so this blasts infrared out on all four sides, or it will work if it's RF control. Like I said, I'm going to move this a little bit. It's not in a great spot, being right inside of the door here and kind of right above the heat outlet. For the temperature function of this, I mean, I can always monitor the temperature with my mini split over there, but just to make it a little more accurate, we'll kind of relocate this up here a little bit. But I wanted to make a quick video to show you how to use the Broadlink device, how to set it up with any generic diesel heater to give you full Wi-Fi control of your diesel heater from wherever you're at. It doesn't have to be on the same Wi-Fi network, you can be anywhere. Alright, so hopefully the video is helpful. I will have links in the description to all the products that I use, including the heater and the Broadlink controller. But again, this will work with pretty much any heater that has a remote control. That's the key. It has to have either infrared or RF remote control. So if it's helpful, be sure to give it a like. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Again, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.